Hey guys, welcome to the Creative Makes Studio and welcome to the Pom Pom wall hanging tutorial. So you should have received your packs, and in those packs you'll have 5 different colours of random yarns, a little bundle with some string. There's about 3.5-ish meters in there, and a plastic needle, a pack with 2 pom-pom makers in it, and a 30cm length of dowel. You will also need a pair of scissors, and if you want to do exact measurements when you're making yours, you'll need a ruler. So our first step is to get our string, which I've just got a separate ball over here, and our dowel. Now I've already got some attached, but yours will be bare for now. And we're going to cut a length that is going to be used to hang the wall hanging later on. So I generally measure the stick and then just add a little bit extra on for tying, and then just cut it because I don't really measure stuff. And we're just going to double knot that string onto each end. Now the reason why we do this first is so we know how much string we have left over for attaching our pom-poms onto. So everything that's left over now on your bundle of string is for attaching the pom-poms. So I'm just going to double knot, one on each end. One. Two. And now I'll just adjust it so that it's all the knots are on the same side of the dowel, and I'll snip off these extra bits. Now don't snip it too close to your knot because then your knot will come undone. But I'm just going to snip off some of these extra bits. So you should have your dowel with your string on there for hanging now. So put that aside, and our next step is to make our first pom-pom. Now in total we're going to make 16 pom-poms because we're doing 4 strings with 4 on each string. My maths is great. 4 strings with 4 on each string, so 16 altogether. I have given you 5 colours, so you can make as many of each colour as you like and just mix and match them on each string. I only used 4 colours on this particular one, but you've got 5 colours. So we'll get our pom-pom makers. So when you open your packet of pom-pom makers, I'm just going to move this out the way, it will look like this. Now the pom-pom makers actually come completely apart. There's 2 halves, like that, and you'll see why once we've used it to make the pom-pom. And the arms also open. So for the purposes of making a pom-pom, this is where we need to start, with it open like this. So both halves are together and we want it open. So we're going to get, you'll need your scissors, so keep those handy. We're going to get our yarn, and we're going to wrap it around. I'll come a bit closer so you can see. We're going to wrap it around this particular part here. So the yellow arms. Now you've also got a pink pom-pom maker in yours. That one makes smaller pom-poms. You can use either or, you can use both. It's up to you what you want your pom-pom maker to look like. So we're going to wrap it around these yellow arms. So we're just going to hold onto it and we're going to wrap. So I'll come a bit closer so you can see again. And we're going to continue to wrap it around these yellow arms, or pink if you're using the smaller ones, until there is quite a bit of yarn on here. So the idea being that the more yarn you have on the arms, the fluffier your pom-pom is going to be. So if you want nice, full fluffy pom-poms like these ones, you're going to need to wrap a lot of yarn around them. So I'm just going to keep going. My ball of yarn's going all over the place until I've got enough on there. All right, that should do. So you can see it actually looks quite straight going across the bottom of there now because I've got it so full. All right, now I'm finished that side, so I'm just going to snip it and I'm going to close those arms. That holds everything in place. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've wrapped both sides of my pom-pom maker with my yarn. So it's looking a bit like this. So the next thing is actually to turn it into a pom-pom. So you're going to need a small piece of the same colour ready to go. So look, that's probably longer than I need, but just to make my life easier, I've done it a bit longer. And we need to cut it so that it's fluffy. So we're going to get our scissors. We need quite sharp scissors. So if there's kids doing this activity, just make sure that you're very careful or you ask a grown-up for help. But you will need sharper scissors because the kids' safety scissors or scissors that are blunt are not going to cut through the yarn. It's going to be very difficult. So to cut the pom-pom maker, I'm going to stand up and get a bit closer to you. To cut the pom-pom maker, we're going to cut in between. So you'll see here there's two halves. We're going to cut in between with the scissors. All the way around. Now you can get quite sore hands from doing this because it is difficult to cut through the yarn because there's so much on there. So I'll just finish doing it and then I'll show you what it looks like once it's finished. So this is what we're looking at. We've got the two halves and I've cut right down the middle with the scissors. So these are going to be our fluffy bits on our pom-pom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other side and then I'll come back. Okay, so now I've cut all the way around mine. So you can see here I've cut around the whole thing. And this is where our other piece of string comes in. So this piece of string is actually going to go straight down the middle in between the two halves that I showed you earlier. So we're going to pop the string down in between these yellow bits. So you've got both pieces in your hand, and then we're going to tie a really, really tight double knot. So I'm going to try and do this while it's hanging in the air. I normally do this on the table. So I'm going to pull it nice and tight. Just be careful you don't break your yarn, obviously. And then I'm going to tie it again. This is what holds the pom-pom together, guys. So just make sure you do it fairly tight. Okay, so now you should have these two strings poking out from in between our yellow bits, and it should all still be closed up. So to get the pom-pom out of the pom-pom maker, we're going to open up the arms. So it looks like this. And then we're going to pull the two halves apart like we did earlier. And then you've got your pom-pom. So to finish the pom-pom off, you can see there's a few scraggly bits. I'm just going to trim those. You can trim it as much or as little as you like. I'm not terribly fussy with pom-poms, so I'm just going to fluff it up a bit. See, it's trimmed, and we don't actually need these strings, so I'm going to trim those as well. So now we've got our first pom-pom. So we need 15 more pom-poms. I want you to go ahead and make all of your pom-poms and then come back and I can show you how we put it together. Okay guys, so you should have all your pom-poms done. I've only got 4 sitting here because I'm going to show you how to make one string like this. And then you can go ahead and do it and then I'll show you how to attach them. So for this part, we're going to need our needle, our string and our scissors. Now you can see, I'll just show you, on this finished one, all of the pom-pom strings are different lengths. So they're not all the same length. So cut your strings into 4 lengths that are all different. So that's your first thing you need to do. So pause the video and do that, and then come back. Okay, so now that you've got your 4 lengths of string, we're going to use our needle and we're going to thread on our bottom pom-pom. So thread your string through your needle, and we're literally just going to push the needle through the center of our pom-pom. So it's going right through the middle. We're going to pull it all the way down until we've got enough string left so that we can tie a double knot. Now this holds the bottom pom-pom in place. So I'm just going to tie a double knot on there. Do it nice and tight. Oops. And then I'm just going to trim off the rest of that string and then refluff my pom-pom. Okay, so that's our bottom, whoops, I need that. That's our bottom pom-pom on the string. The next step is to put our other 3 pom-poms on. So whatever order, if you want to plan it out beforehand and decide what order you want everything in so that you've got even distribution, then be my guest. I'm just going to do all 3 at once. So just the same thing, we're just passing them through and moving them down the string into the spot where we want them. We can adjust it later because we're not actually tying these ones in place. So we can move these ones up and down later. Okay. Now that you've got them on, just make sure you've got fairly even distribution along your string. And then do your other strings in the same way. So once you have all 4 strings done, come back, but for now pause the video and get those done. Okay guys, so you should have all 4 of your strings ready to go now. I've already tied 2 of mine on, but here's my other 2. So the next job is to attach these strings onto the dowel. So the same as what we've been doing with everything else, we're just going to make sure that there's enough on the top there to tie them around the dowel and tie a double knot to keep them on there. So I'm going to go ahead and tie these on. Don't worry about bits that are hanging off at the moment, we can tidy that up in a sec. And again, you can adjust the height of each of these pom-poms. So there's one. And you can also move them up and down or along the dowel. So just get them on for now at the length that you're happy with, and then we will adjust things. So just a double knot. Okay. So this is what it should be looking like at the moment. So just move your things along until they're evenly spaced and you're happy with them. Move your pom-poms up and down until you're happy with the spacing. All right, so if you're not happy with any lengths of any of these, now's the time to untie them and retie them before you cut these little tails off. If you're happy with how everything's looking, then you can cut these extra tails off of your strings that you don't need anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Don't cut it too close to the knot because it's going to come undone. Okay. So your pom-pom maker, your pom-pom wall hanging, should I say, is now finished. I've missed a spot on one of these pom-poms. Better. So your pom-pom wall hanging is now done. I would love to see some photos if you want to send me some photos of them hanging up in your houses. I hope you enjoyed making this pom-pom wall hanging, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.